this was definitely my first idea, and had to approach my husband about becoming foster parents and then having to go through the classes. And he is much more of a no man where I'm a yes woman. So it did take some talking to and convincing. But now he is the teddy bear of the family. All the kids go to him immediately, and he couldn't be more happier than with all of his children. So prior to having my son, I worked in Head Start programs throughout Rhode Island and had some foster children in my care at the daycares. And when I realized that going back to work was not an option for our family, I remembered that Children's Friend and Service had foster care as part of their program for ages birth to 6. So I went on the website and followed the link to contact the recruiter, Joyce Tormey, and that's what I did. After becoming licensed as a foster parent, we got our first placement of a little boy within about 2 weeks of being licensed. And we had him for 4 months, and he was reunited. And then we started the process of the rest 7 kids that we ended up fostering within the next 4 years. Our third placement was Christopher, and he came to us at 4 months, and at 2.5 we ended up adopting him. And then fast forward 2 years later, and we had our 7th placement was Katie, and we adopted her last November. And right now we're fostering her sister. So what I've learned through this process about myself personally is that, first of all, I never liked surprises before being a foster parent. And I also learned to enjoy surprises because every day is a surprise. And also to learn more patience. I definitely am a much more patient person. Forget about the parenting part of it. Just as a person, I've grown to roll with the punches, whereas before it probably wouldn't have been as easy to do that. So our first placement came when my biological son was 4, and even then he was pretty bright, and so we told him from the beginning, I will always tell you when I know what's going on. Sometimes I don't know what's going on, and that's okay, but you will always be the first to know from me what is going to happen, whether we're going to have a child come into the home, whether the child is going to stay, or whether the child is going to go back. I will always be honest with you and tell you what's going to happen. And every time we've had a little bit of bumps, and he might have been a little bit more sad, a little bit more active when a child would go. But I think in the long run, I know in the long run, he's a better person for having gone through the whole process. A special moment for me has been towards the end of our process, where we are in the process of discussing our latest adoption of our last foster child. And when talking to my 9-year-old biological son and telling him that after we adopted her, that we were going to be done, he cried and said, "Mom, you can't give up your job as a foster mom." What has gotten me through the last 5 years and the 8 total placements that we've had is that no matter how long they needed me for, whether it was for 3 weeks, a month, or forever, that's how long they needed me. And when the tough times came and there might be some sort of bump in the road, I would tell myself that, and that would get me through that time. So for somebody that is thinking about being a foster parent, just think these children need you, and they need you for as long as they need you for. Sure. So during the classes, it is discussed about forming relationship with other foster parents because they really know what you're going through. They may not have the answers, but they can understand more than other people that aren't foster parents. I have to admit that when I took the classes, I didn't form those relationships with the people in my classes, and that's something that I wish that I had done more of, because I really had to work at it a little bit more afterwards to find other foster parents and really create those relationships. But they're some of the strongest relationships that I have now. and I'm so glad for it. They're the people that I go to immediately when something comes up, and they may not have the answers, but I know that they understand and can appreciate what I'm going through. And I honestly don't think I could go through this whole process for the last 5 years without those other foster parents.
Foster parenting is more than helping a child. It provides hope for a family. There are children all around us in our state, our neighborhoods, from newborns to teens, who need safe, loving homes. We can answer all your questions, and if you decide to foster, we will be with you every step of the way. Give us a call at 401-276-4318 to learn more.